Ultra-nationalist Israelis are marching through occupied East Jerusalem as part of their so-called Flag Day celebrations. It marks Israel's illegal occupation of the area after the 1967 war. Crowds have made incursions into the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound. In recent years, thousands of people have joined the march through the city, waving flags and chanting racist slogans. Last year, settlers protected by Israeli forces also attacked Palestinians. Now, just a reminder, Benjamin Netanyahu's cabinet has banned Al Jazeera from reporting in Israel, which is why Sara Khairat now joins us from the Jordanian capital, Amman. Sara, good to see you. So how provocative a move is this to allow this flag march to take place, given what's happening in Gaza at the moment?
It's very controversial. In fact, a few years ago, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had diverted the route. And then last year, they allowed it. There was a whole debate as to whether it would be allowed or not. And clearly this year, they're allowing it once again. It's controversial for many reasons. First of all, the location of how it happens and where it happens. They cut through the Muslim quarters in the old city. They enter from Damascus Gate all along those narrow corridors up to the Western Wall are shops that are owned by Palestinians. They shout out anti-Arab, anti-Palestinian slogans. They've damaged property before, and it tends to be organized by young ultra-nationalists. If you take a look at some of the videos, you'll see a lot of them are teenagers, but not just ultra-nationalists, right-wingers, religious right-wingers that are very much backed by those far-right ministers like Itamar Ben-Gvir, the National Security Minister, who has been accused in the courts many times before for racism against Arabs before he even came into this coalition government. Then you have the Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich, and also they are the ones that encourage the storming of Al-Aqsa Mosque compound when it's not the visiting hours. So this, especially in the context of the war, is problematic for Palestinians. It also represents an occupation that has increased its crackdown on Palestinians since the war started in Gaza. Those that we met in occupied East Jerusalem, I've spoken to many of those shop owners, fearful to even leave their homes at times. And it's only recently that they've been actually allowed at a certain age that was banned from entering the old city. The police have allowed them to enter, but not without those checks, constant checks and arrests, sometimes arbitrary arrests, and unbeknown to those Palestinians why. So this march is a provocative march, and it has turned into violent ones in previous years.
Indeed. And Sara, I know, of course, you have reported from there before, but because Al Jazeera is not allowed to report from Israel anymore, you're not there yourself. Do you have a sense at all from reports how the mood is there today? What are we expecting later today when the march actually begins?
Well, it's expected tens of thousands of Israelis to attend waving those flags. And in fact, 3,000 police officers, border police, have been deployed in the area. They know that this time it's a very volatile time, certainly as Israel is under immense international pressure to wrap up the war in Gaza. And also a highlight on abuse of Palestinian prisoners, rounding them up in their thousands under terrible conditions, and also the number of those Palestinians that have been killed and occupied, not just occupied East Jerusalem, but also the occupied West Bank. So they're aware they don't want that violence, but at the same time, there is a movement towards this kind of ultra-nationalistic movement that is affecting day-to-day life for Palestinians, and certainly under the current circumstances with this war, it's incredibly tough. Whether we'll see any of those clashes, it's hard to tell, because Palestinians, certainly older Palestinians that we have spoken to before, have said that they have tried to advise their young kids, especially if they're men, not to leave their home, especially during these sorts of situations.
OK, thank you for that. Sara Khairat there for us in Amman.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.